Have you experienced the awesome power of the Panasonic Real 3DO system? Obviously.
Presenting 3DO, the most advanced home gaming system in the universe. It's time to put away your toys.
3DO from Panasonic, Gold Star, and Creative Labs. A new low price and free games.
Mind-blowing graphics of Panasonic Real 3DO.
3DO.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 3DO Experience, the 3DO Retrospective Podcast, where we talk about all things 3DO, the company, the console, and everything in between. I am Bill, and today I'm flying solo. Thrak was having some computer issues. Hopefully, I believe he said that they should be done by the next time we record, so we'll be returning to our normal schedule next week, but I figured today, just to keep the episodes rolling, I would do another solo episode covering a more just kind of general 3DO topic rather than a game this week. So no news segment or anything because I don't really follow the news as is well established. But yeah, for this episode, we're going kind of back to old school. It's just going to be me rambling on about some 3DO stuff, and for this one, I actually thought it'd be interesting if we deep dived a little bit into the canceled 3DO games, because the 3DO, as we know, was a very ambitious console for the time. Had a lot of promise, but failed to meet a lot of expectations, mostly due to its outrageous price, and kind of the weird nature of the hardware being the kind of multifaceted mess it was. A mess that I love, but a mess that is a mess all the same. But yeah, there was a ton of games that were announced for the 3DO at one point or another and just either never came out or were canceled or were moved to other systems over the years. A lot were announced. Like, there was so many that were like, you would see like the game like announcements and you'd see like the platforms they were listed for. And 3DO appeared a lot. But there's a lot of 3DO games that just did not come out, or they kind of were announced and just vanished. So I thought it'd be interesting to like look down. There's a convenient Wikipedia page that has a whole bunch of the games listed, and some of them kind of caught my eye, so I figured we'd kind of go through a bunch of them and just kind of see what we find. Like, notably right off the bat, like one of the first ones that intrigues me is The 11th Hour, which is the sequel to the game The Seventh Guest, which was a PC game that also released on the CDI back in the 90s. But it had a lesser-known sequel that released in like the later 90s that was apparently planned for the 3DO at one point, but never saw a release. Most likely the year was 95, that the 3DO was on the way out by this point. So that's probably what's going on. We also have... There's like other games like Absolute Zero, which is another Domark like space shooter kind of game, flight sim. One that kind of bummed me was Alone in the Dark 3, the third Alone in the Dark game. It was also a late release, so that's probably why it was canceled. But yeah, that would have been an interesting game to come out for the 3DO, just because we got the other two games, and like Alone in the Dark 3 is the only game in the series that's kind of trapped on PC as it is. So it'd be just kind of like neat if like a 3DO version of that did come out, especially because I thought Alone in the Dark 2 really made a lot of improvements that I didn't see coming compared to like the first game, which the first game is like a piece of history, but it has not aged well in the slightest, as like me and Thrax said when we covered it years ago. But 2 was a pleasant surprise, and I've still yet to play 3, so I'm like really curious if 3 also improved things. It kind of bummed a 3DO version never came out, but that's not here nor there, unfortunately. That's just an interesting another one that comes up. Keeping going through, there was apparently the Blizzard Entertainment platform game Blackthorn had a 3DO version planned at one point, which was showcased at E3 95, but was never released, probably just because it was late. A lot of these I'm assuming is because the 3DO was out the door. Like, some of these I'm a little curious about because the sources aren't always the clearest. Like, apparently, like, Legacy of Kain, like Blood Omen was originally planned for 3DO, but was then moved over to PlayStation and Windows, most likely because they're more powerful systems, and I'm pretty sure, 96, 97, this thing wasn't coming out in 3DO. Another weird one is like apparently Bubsy in Claws Encounters of the Third Kind was planned for 3DO, which I don't I don't get that one, but sure, why not? Some other ones like Chess Wars, which was similar to Battle Chess. There was a Clay Fighter game at one point. Scrolling down, like Descent, the Parallax Software space shooter. There was a lot of space shooters. Like a lot of these, most of these, it looks like it was just because it was the 3DO was on the way out. One that I always was kind of bummed by was Disruptor, the first Insomniac game. That was planned for the 3DO and was like, I think they actually did start development on the 3DO, but they moved over to the PlayStation just because obviously the system was going out, but also PlayStation is just significantly more powerful, which makes a lot of sense. Another one that's interesting is apparently Art Data was planning on porting Doom 2 as well. Like, I can't even imagine if they even attempted that. Like, yeesh, especially how the first game came out. Like, the fact that Rebecca Heineman got it to run it all is still the most impressive part of that game in a lot of ways. So, keeping rolling down, a lot of these are just kind of obscure games. Like, there was an adventure game called Golden Gate that was apparently planned for the 3DO as well, but never released. That game came out in '97. I wonder why. Heart of Darkness. This one was apparently so obviously Heart of Darkness was the spiritual successor to Another World or Out of This World. Very similar game. Apparently, at one point, it was planned for the 3DO, but because the game's super long development hell, it ended up going beyond the 3DO's life cycle, and of course, that wasn't going to happen. I can't imagining that game on 3DO is fascinating because that's a game that actually I think would have done really well on 3DO, all things considered. Some other ones we got here. Maximum Surge. This one is always super interesting to me just because of the fact that it was like another Digital Pictures. It was a Digital Pictures FMV game that was planned for like 3DO, Sega Saturn and stuff. It never ended up seeing release. Although it did later see, it was like released as a movie named Game Over in 2003. Using a lot of the footage, but I was curious of. I love Digital Pictures games for just how like stupid they are, and this one it could have been interesting. What else do we got here? Some of these are just like bizarre. Like apparently, according to this, Mega Man X3 at one point, I somehow doubt that one, but you never know. Metal Gear Solid, sure, I doubt it. That's probably one where it was like one of those like a offhand thing. So apparently Mortal Kombat 3 was announced at one point. I know the Mortal Kombat 2 port is, the fan port is phenomenal. So, like, Mortal Kombat 3 could have been interesting. Apparently this one was announced, but like most things, the 3DO died before it could come out, sadly. Apparently Rayman was also planned, which would not surprise me because Rayman was released on fucking everything. I mean, including the Atari Jaguar. I'm assuming. When did Rayman originally come out? Yeah, 95. 3 was dead. The fact that it came out on the Jaguar is impressive in itself. Rock and Roll Racing, apparently, at one point. That would have been kind of cool, but doesn't surprise me it didn't come out. Slam City was apparently planned. Apparently Tomb Raider started development. No, well, not development, but there was some early planning phases before it shifted over to Saturn and PlayStation. There was a Waterworld game, apparently. Walker, an Usignos, a DMA Design game. That's interesting. Scrolling shooter, also just canceled, apparently. Yeah, this one, some of these, they're kind of like they claim it, but there isn't a lot of info on here. Apparently Wing Commander 4 was also planned, which makes sense because Wing Commander 3 is one of like the biggest games for the system. Soviet Strike apparently was also planned at one point. That actually would have been kind of cool because I mean that is a fun game, but like most of these, it was very late in the 3DO's development. Yeah, so there was a bunch of games planned overall. It's funny because most of these did come out, but they were just canceled in general. Now, looking around, there was like some other games too that I know like were planned. Like one that always bums me out is Icebreaker 2, which could have been Icebreaker 2. Like, I'm always kind of curious what that game would have been, just because apparently like you can find like playable versions of it out there. But we don't know a ton about it. I'm actually a little curious. Because I know we briefly mentioned it during the original Icebreaker episode we had done. You can find videos on it out there. Well, just a lot of let's see. Reason it did not come out because the 3DO collapsed. It's very telling how many of these games did not come out on 3DO just because the system failed. That's a little tragic, not gonna lie. Yeah. Going through some of these. There was also M2 games, like D2 was originally planned on the M2. That would have always been interesting to see, just because that was apparently a completely different kind of game than what D2 ended up being, the sequel to D. But yeah, we have there's a lot of stuff out there. The Waterworld game, that's just weird to me. Software Creations was developing it. It looks, from the screenshots I could see of it, it doesn't look very fun. I mean, it looks better than the that Virtual Boy Waterworld game, but that's not saying much. Apparently there was a Star Trek game also in development by Spectrum Holobyte. That looks... There's like a few screenshots here or there. Doesn't look crazy. Might have been cool. Looks very FMV-ish. So that could either have been very good or very bad, depending on the 3DO. Scrolling through the Mortal Kombat 3, I see that one pop up a lot. The 3DO really did fighters well, even though its controller was kind of not well made for them. It did fighters well, and it did fighters really bad, because there were some really bad 3DO fighters too. But like the ones that were really good, like Street Fighter and stuff, are phenomenal. Yeah, there's a lot of this stuff going through. I am bummed about that 11th Hour game. That would have been really... That's one of those games that I feel like I would have liked if it came out, but because it didn't, it's just it's lost to time. Yeah. The 3DO, it's a shame, because like there was so many games that could have really been something on 3DO. Like I see apparently that Mega Man X3 one actually has a bit more leeway than others. Like I see it mentioned on Reddit, like other people. I got to look at those sources a bit for some of those, because like I'm really legitimately curious on how far some of these got. Rockman 3. Oh, there's in the Rockman Corner website, Rockman 3 for the Panasonic 3DO, no longer a myth. So apparently it was a rumor, but apparently there is some truth to it. Yeah, it looks like there was some like initial toying around with it, but obviously it didn't get super far. Yeah, and the biggest cause, of course, was just the system's support for the system was gone. So it just kind of, unfortunately, it is what it is there. Yeah, it's disappointing a little bit. That could have been really cool because the 3DO could have used more platformers as well. Oh, there's a Star Wars chess game apparently also planned for 3DO but did not come out. 94, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, Slam City with Scottie Pippen was also apparently planned for the 3DO but also never released. It's a shame because there was a lot of the 3DO digital pictures games were really good. Oh, Shredfest. What is Shredfest? Oh, okay, this one's interesting. So Shredfest was a spin-off of Road Rash by Electronic Arts, but it was more of a snowboarding thing. It was planned for the 3DO, the PlayStation, the Saturn. It never released for any of them, but it was apparently a thing at one point. That's kind of cool. Would have liked to see that, because snowboarding games are kind of fun. It was also known as Faceplant originally for the Sega Genesis. That's fun. There's a lot of arcade titles that were also planned. Like Core Design's Shell Shocked was apparently planned for 3DO at one point. These were all announced too, apparently, which makes it even more amusing. Return to Zork, that was also planned. That would have worked fairly well too, especially how good Myst is on the 3DO. What's funny with a lot of these is too, you'll see like it was also planned for either Atari Jaguar or like the Jaguar CD. I love whenever I see the Jaguar CD thing. That's always funny. Apparently, Pitfall: The Mind Adventure was also planned for 3DO at one point. Doesn't 94? Yeah, doesn't surprise me. That was canceled. So many of these games were planned and canceled. It is what it is, unfortunately. Apparently, oh yeah, that canceled Sega CD, the Penn and Teller Smoke and Mirrors game, was also apparently planned for 3DO at one point. That's a game that flat out never came out, was canceled, but does exist because that's obviously where we could have been playing Desert Bus on the 3DO. That is spectacular. I'm kind of bummed that doesn't exist. Oh well. NHL 96, another sports game. Hey, we never did get a hockey game on 3DO, at least one that I can think of off the top of my head. That would have been fun. 3DO having the full gauntlet of sports games. Mirage, that's interesting. Oh, it's a puzzle game, point-and-click adventure puzzler. Oh, this is fascinating. Published by Atlantis Interactive, an offshoot of the adult film company Vivid Entertainment. Was this another porn game? No, this was apparently they had a non-porn division as well. Fun. Fun. I'm sure that would have been another wonderful game that we needed for 3DO. I'm actually legitimately curious about these. Some of these. All right, so this Metal Gear one is intriguing me. The Gamer, 10 things you never knew about Metal Gear Solid's development on the PS1. A third title was originally planned for the 3DO. Even before the official development of Metal Gear Solid began, Hideo Kojima was planning a third title in the series for 3DO. It is extremely fortunate development never commenced for it. That's a little harsh, but okay. The console was not nearly as technically capable. Well, you don't need to completely shit all over the 3DO's day, whoever wrote this article. We get it. The PlayStation was more powerful. And it would have been a flop. Yeah, I get it. But, okay, so apparently that happened at one point. There's an additional link. Leads to a web archive. Yeah, okay, so Metal Gear 3. There's like more to this apparently than meets the eye. That's interesting. Actually, I might have to put a pin in that and do a deep dive into that a little later, because I'm legitimately interested that if this really did have any significant start there or not. Solabu? I don't know how to pronounce that. It's a Namco rail shooter. It was also apparently Oh, it's part of the Xevious series. That's why it's got a weird name. 3DO port plan never came out. Of course. Oh, there's another golf game, the Scottish Open Virtual Golf. 3DO didn't have nearly enough golf games. So, yep, the ones I'm curious about are like these ones that there are no Wikipedia pages for, like with the Prowler, which was apparently an Origin Systems futuristic game combat vehicle kind of thing. Apparently it was never released in any capacity, so that's why there's no real info on it. That's a shame. Could have been interesting. Rad the Rockhopper. What the hell is that? Listed in the E395. Was in development. Little else revealed. Most likely died due to system coming out. Okay. Interesting. Oh, there's another American Laser Games that didn't come out over here. But this was like more an action game. Oh. I'm curious what that would have been now. Or Batak. It's apparently one of those games you control with a trackball. It's like time-based action game where you control flying spears. But American Laser Games was working on it, so that's why I'm curious. Never came out, though, on 3DO. Oh, what the hell is this? Mackenzie & Co., a PC dating sim, was announced for the 3DO, but also not released. Probably, yeah, because 95, 96, release date, the 3DO is dead. Interesting. Sure, that would have been something, I guess. Probably not, but hey, you never know. The 3DO is like a weird treasure trove. The Lost Viking 2 was apparently 3DO. Another Blizzard game. It's interesting. Puzzle platformer. Lodestar, an interactive movie shooter. Also planned, didn't come out. Similar to Sewer Shark, apparently. That's interesting. What else do we got here? Dragon Slayer 2 was apparently also included. This one interesting too, because this one actually had a non-playable demo that was included in the 3DO port of Brain Dead 13. So there is a bit to that one. There's a Dragon Ball fighting game planned. That makes sense to me because we did have the Yu Hakusho fighter and the Sailor Moon fighter. So there was like a precedent for anime fighters. It probably would have been Japan only at the time, all things considered. Dragon the Bruce Lee story, that's a fighting game, of course, was planned for 3DO but did not come out. 94 makes sense. So many of these are super late. Discworld. Oh, I've seen this game before. Yeah, this is another adventure game. Oh, I'm kind of bummed. This one looks like it would have been kind of cool on 3DO as well. Cyber War, which was a game based on the film The Lawnmower Man. This did come out for PlayStation and PC. Never came out on 3DO. Probably canceled like most 3DO games. Interesting. Command & Conquer also announced. Clockworks. What the hell is this? Oh, it's a puzzle game. I would have loved more puzzlers. Oh, Clockworks is the I think that was designed by They have the Tetris creators on it, so I don't think he actually worked on it, but he did endorse it, so that's something. Never came out on 3DO though. Bummer. Clay Fighter, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. What the fuck is this? A rail shooter. What the hell? I was not expecting to see Elon Musk pop up in any of these. That's... Oh, he worked for the company that made this, apparently. That's something. Not going to touch that anymore. Interesting. yeah. A lot of these. Big Red Racing. What is this? Another Domark game of Racer. 96. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, this one looks interesting too. That would have been another fun racer on 3DO. Darn. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking through these, and a lot of this is like literally just scrolling through and going, "Oh, that would have been cool," but it never came out. Darn. Baldies, a construction and management simulation god game. Yeah, that looks like it would have been fun. This one got to come out on Jaguar CD, but not 3DO because I guess the 3DO got pulled earlier than the Jaguar CD, or they just didn't care and were releasing shit for the Jaguar CD way longer than necessary. Yeah, no, interesting. Yeah, I guess that's really about it. Going through these, like, I just kind of wanted to go through that list a little bit. I'm sure once Thrax's back, we might actually look at some of these probably deeper and like maybe like talk about a bit of them because there's some interesting stuff in here. I gotta look into some of the more obscure ones too because I'm sure there's something around. But for now, this is going to be kind of a short, just kind of filler episode, just to keep the pod going for this week. Thrax will be back next week, and we'll be jumping into our next game. So, looking forward to that. But anyways, guys, once again, thank you for joining me on the 3DO Experience. You can find the 3DO Experience on all the major podcasting platforms. Be sure to check us out over on the Superpod Network. That is superpodnetwork.com. Awesome site. We can find all sorts of blogs, videos, podcasts. We got a new Game Club game. We just finished Earthworm Jim 3D, so the vote is currently up for the next game. Hopefully that'll be another fun... Well, hopefully that'll be a fun game this time, not Earthworm Jim 3D. Yeah, anyways, guys, once again, thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week.
If you're not playing on a 3DO system, what are you playing with?